What is going on, everybody? It's the France, and we're here for a SmackDown review for July the 30th, 2021. We are only a few short weeks away from SummerSlam, BummerSlam, anything you want to call it, as SummerSlam is coming around the corner. Tonight, Finn Balor and Roman Reigns are to sign on the dotted line. John Cena is on SmackDown second week in a row, and we had a big return, setting up a big match for the SmackDown Women's Championship going into SummerSlam. So, as I said before, John Cena opens the show. He actually came out and his music's playing. He actually says, because he always says a couple words before he comes down to the ramp, he's like, sounds good, but not as good as Paul Heyman's remix. So everyone got, people online were getting a pop about that. And he comes out. We get a video package of how Cena recently returned. It takes shots of Roman Reigns and challenge him to SummerSlam. The video shows how Reigns denied Cena's challenge last week. We accepted the challenge of Finn Balor. They're supposed to sign a contract later in the night, and they will. Cena calls it an interesting video and refers to Roman's comment on missionary position, saying, if you can find somebody who makes the missionary position interesting for 2 decades, keep that person in your life, because, yeah. So John's the missionary, Rowan went out there and made a missionary joke last week, and it's going to be something that we get to hear every single goddamn week going forward. He gets the crowd hyped up for tonight's show and says tonight's Reigns will sign a contract with Balor. Cena says it's only half bad. Much respect for Balor, but he only proves the point that Roman actually absolutely sucks. He goes on and says he has no problem with rejection. He's been rejected in front of the world, and we were there. It wasn't pretty. There was This is a reference to Nikki Bella, but we're not going to get to that. Cena says Reigns rejected him because he returned to the same look, music, among other things, and that is so stupid. Like asking Stone Cold Steve Austin to come back as Sasquatch Steve Houston, or The Rock to come back as Dwayne Too Small Johnson, and says it's ridiculous. It's not these guys. It's not who those guys are. They believe who they are, and so do the fans. He goes on and says Reigns has to change every 2 years because fans stop caring about him, because they don't believe in him, because Reigns doesn't believe in himself. He says Reigns is nothing more than a lazy stooge named Joe who coasts on by on every gimmick in the system. He rips Roman and says he's afraid to fail. No, he's not afraid to fail. Vince McMahon's afraid to fail. That's the thing. I've heard rumblings that Vince McMahon already wants to turn Roman Reigns babyface. No. Honestly, in my opinion, Roman Reigns should be heel for the rest of his career. He's whipping on him and says he's afraid to fail. Says he would have embarrassed Reigns at SummerSlam, and he knows it. Cena says Reigns didn't reject him because of how he looks. He's because how he would have made Reigns look. He's gonna end the segment. Out comes Baron Corbin, and the fans are chanting, "You suck." And Cena's like, they're saying you suck, but I don't even know I don't have any idea who the hell you are. He gets on the apron and Cena's like, oh my God, Baron Corbin? You look. And Corbin's like, horrible, I know. He looks horrible. Corbin says he and Cena have never been close, but Corbin is desperate, and desperate men do desperate things. Corbin says his life is falling apart. He's lost everything: his car, his house, and crown. Someone stole his identity, and his credit is trashed. Then last week he suffered an injury in a very sensitive part, so he can't even perform. And because of that, his life left and took the kids. I wasn't even aware he was married or had kids. Don't really care. Corbin says he saw Cena out there, the man who grants so many wishes, and he wondered if Cena could help him. Cena asked fans if he should help him. The fans, of course, they all say no. Cena asks if it's definitive answer, and it sounds like a strong no. Cena can't make heads or tails of it. Gives him what looks like $1 bill or two. Corbin says this is it. It doesn't have to be money. He'll work it out. He'll work for it. He said, asked Cena to put him in the next Suicide Squad movie, which, of course, that movie comes out on Friday. Corbin asked about the sequel being Cena's stunt double. Cena says that's a bit of a reach. Corbin asks if Cena's going to kick a poor man while he's down. Says, well, Cena really is a selfish, self-absorbed tightwad with an ego the size of California, which, yeah, so. Calls Cena and Hollywood sellout. Cena says, you know what? This is a learning experience, so I'm going to help the man. Going to give you something you desperately need. An attitude adjustment, picks him up, hits him, and lays him out. So, John Cena takes out Baron Corbin. And again, I'm sick of this storyline. You have a guy working for WWE. You expect me to believe that this guy's in the poorhouse? You're going to expect me to believe that this guy is just down on his luck, not making any fucking money? WWE's too cheap to pay this guy his fucking salary every single month, every 2 weeks, whoever the fuck they get paid. Come the fuck on. Nobody fucking believes it. Why they continue to push this bullshit storyline is beyond me. So that was that. Backstage, we had Rey Mysterio talking to his son Dominic about him making some rookie mistakes and says he needs to keep one eye on Jay and the other eye on him as he's going to show him that he still has some old tricks left to show him. So we go to a match, Jimmy Uso versus Rey Mysterio. Of course, Jimmy beat Dominic last week, or was it Jay? I can't remember. But who cares? They're both Usos, so it doesn't matter who is who. So we have this match here. It's a really fun match here. Rey wins thanks to Dominic doing what the Usos did at Money in the Bank and last week by putting his feet on the back of Rey to reinforce the pin. Rey holds down the pin for the 1, 2, 3, and he beats Jimmy. I think that is Jimmy's first loss since coming back, or since he got arrested and won the championship, so there's that. Can we stop having champions lose? But that's not the only champion who gets pinned tonight, by the way. We see SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Ballet retaining over Carmella at Rolling Loud in front of silence and fake fan cheers that we heard. Just utter silence. People who went to Rolling Loud were ripping this all on social media last week. Next time you're going to send your talents to a concert event like this, send them to death metal or some metal place that would probably get this, not to a hip-hop concert place. Just no. Now, if it would have sent out Jeff Hardy or John Cena, maybe it would have got a reaction. But don't send out 6 nobodies that people in the crowd have no idea who the fuck they are. Kayla Braxton in the ring. The red ring covered down. Kayla congratulates her for hitting 111 days. And asks about how she sees the next 100 days playing out. Fans chant EST. Now, as Bella thanks Kayla, she says, these past few months have been amazing, defending at Rolling Loud, winning in SP, main eventing WrestleMania, and now being back in front of live fans. Says it just keeps getting better, and she doesn't know how it's going to top it, but grateful. And out comes Carmella. And I'm just like, really? You lost twice. You lost twice, fair and square, both times. And now you're going to come out and be like, I deserve another shot because I held the title for 130 days. Nobody cares. Carmella mocks Ballet on the 100-day milestone, congratulating her, says she really wants to cement her legacy. She'd give a one title shot to someone who held it for 130 days, someone known as the most beautiful woman in WWE. Out comes Zelena Vega, who says she deserves a title match. And I'm thinking to myself, on what planet does Zelena Vega think that she even comes close to getting a title shot when she has come back to WWE and has done nothing but lose and lose and lose and lose and lose. Lose, 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 lose. That's all Zelena Vega has done. She is just shooting up the L's all over the place. Just L's are coming around. You get an L, you get an L. Everybody gets an L from Zelena Vega because that's all she's done. Now, for whatever reason, Bella says she says you're on, Vega. Carmella attacks her. They both attack her. They beat her up. Out comes Sasha Banks, making her return since the Friday after WrestleMania, which was the last time we saw her when she didn't say a word and just walked off. Beats those two up, sends them flying, sends them running away. Picks up Bianca Belair, gives her a nice old big hug. Crowd's going crazy, and that ends the segment. So, you know this is going. We all know where this match is going. Who's going to be facing Belair at SummerSlam? Just how do we get there? More on that later. See what happened? Like, we see what's happened with the Racing 24/7 I-95 Eurocontinental piece of garbage, green piece of garbage, known as the 24/7 Championship. Reggie, including how Nia Jax turned on him and how he won the title from Akira Tozawa. And now it's on SmackDown as he is going to be taking on Chad Gable. And I'm sitting here like, no, please, no. SmackDown doesn't need this. The 24/7, $9.95 Eurocontinental green piece of garbage needs nowhere near this fucking show. I do not want to see this garbage on my TV. Period. I just don't understand why they need to bring this over here. SmackDown doesn't need it. So again, why are we getting it? Why are we getting the 24/7 $9.95 piece of garbage on SmackDown? Leave that shit on Monday Night Raw where it belongs. So he took on Chad Gable, but Otis and Chad Gable both came out. Otis is that evil, nasty look on his face, looks dead at Reggie and says, "It's not me, it's him." Reggie, the dumbass, takes his eyes off of Otis. Otis bum rushes him. Chad Gable gets an early advantage, but Reggie hits the whatever the fuck his somersault, whatever the hell his finisher is, goes for the pin. Otis gets in the ring, pulls him off, and that gets a DQ. Reggie escapes a beating by Otis and stands tall at ringside with his arm raised as they announce him as the winner. Keep this on Monday Night Raw. Do not bring it back to SmackDown. Sonya Deville approaches Adam Pearce backstage, confirming tonight's main event: Sasha Banks and Bianca Ballet versus Carmella and Zelena Vega. So we're rehashing what we did on the way to WrestleMania, are we? Because if you remember, on the road to WrestleMania, they tagged, 3 or 4 times, even challenging for the women's tag team titles on 2 separate occasions? Yeah, we don't need to rehash that shit. So they come to the ring for the contract signing. Out comes Finn Balor. Out comes Roman Reigns. Puts the chair where it's supposed to be at for him because he is the head of the table. And we have ourselves a contract signing here where Roman's pretty much like, listen. Wait, did you hear what happened? What Cena said earlier tonight? He's pretty much said that he pretty much said that you're lesser than him. I don't think that. I think you're worthy of the title shot because you're not some old song and dance guy. You're hungry. You want it. You want this match. You want this title. But let's just to warn you, if you sign this contract, you're going to get beaten so bad. I'm going to be sending your ass back to NXT. He signs. Balor gets the mic and says, basically, you think very highly of yourself. Warranted, most probably. But I'll gladly go back to NXT as, once again, the Universal Champion. Goes to sign the contract. Baron Corbin, for whatever reason, comes out from behind, smashes his head on the table, sends him out of the ring, grabs the contract, looks to sign for a Universal title match. John Cena comes back out, takes him out, grabs the contract, and the heel that he is, stealing another opportunity from a young guy, takes the contract with a big blue Sharpie, signs Cena on the contract, and he is going to SummerSlam to take on Roman Reigns. Now, I see a lot of people oh, how could they bury Finn Balor this way? The match we all knew was going to be John Cena versus Roman Reigns. Did we need Finn Balor to be a part of this? No. You could have had John Cena come out last week because John Cena was in the main event, the dark match main event, just as he is tonight with the Mysterios, probably against the tag team, against the Bloodline. But let's see here. They could have had John Cena show up. They could have had him, what is it called? Goad Roman Reigns into making the match happen. But they didn't do that. For whatever reason, they just were like, well, we're just going to send Balor out there. Balor's going to get his time to shine. He's going to get his match acceptable. We're going to yank that away from the fans. Basically thinking that, the fans are going to, yanking it away from the fans and giving them Cena versus Roman Reigns and holding off on Finn Balor till probably Extreme Rules is going to make that match feel bigger. Honestly, I could really care less about that match. Like, I would rather see, I would rather have Finn Balor built up some more and then go for the Universal Championship. But it is what it is. We'll see what happens with Finn Balor. Next week he's taking on the most pathetic man. And I really want them to announce him as the most pathetic man in WWE, Baron Corbin. That would be funny. I actually think I would pop for that. Announcing him as the most pathetic man in WWE. Nobody gives a shit about that. I don't, you don't, nobody gives a fuck about it, and no one should give a fuck about it. So backstage, Paul Heyman's congratulating Pearson. The villain says, what had just happened was great TV. What are they going to do about SummerSlam? He points out how Finn Balor's name is on the contract, but Cena signed it, so that's not legal and binding. Pierce points at the contract and says he sees Cena's signature and Roman's signature, so that's good enough for him. DeVille says Cena vs. Reigns for the Universal title is official, and of course, Heyman isn't happy. So, you remember last week, right before we went to Rolling Loud, Big E was in the ring being all celebratory about winning the Money in the Bank. And out came Apollo Crews, out came Roode and Ziggler, out came Cesaro, out came Nakamura, and they all brawled. Well, we went to Rolling Loud while the fans in Cleveland watched that match. So, we got that match tonight. Cesaro, Big E, and Shinsuke Nakamura versus Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler, and your Intercontinental Champion, Apollo Crews. Now, we all know if you watch AEW on Wednesday nights and Jericho comes out, people sing Judas. Well, that's all fine and good, and that started early last year. But before Shinsuke Nakamura turned heel, from the time he came from NXT to his time on the main roster until WrestleMania in 2018, people were singing his music way before Judas was being sung. So if anybody wants to try and credit what we see with Judas now, you got to see Nakamura, because this guy is over as fuck. His music stops playing, they still keep singing, and it was just a fucking sight to behold. I'm glad he got that music back before the crowds came back. This was a really nothing match. Nothing special happened except for Cesaro swinging Dolph Ziggler a hell of a lot of times. Crews misses a moonsault from the top rope. Nakamura ends up coming back with the Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. Cesaro, Nakamura, and Big E gets the win. Again, why do you want to be a champion in WWE? Look at every other promotion. Do champions lose on a weekly basis in non-title matches practically clean? No. Only in WWE do they see a champion losing as a good thing. Oh, this person beat the champ. It's like they have this mindset. Like if wrestler A beats champion, then wrestler A is on the same level as champion. Instead of having Cesaro, Nakamura, Big E, Roode, and Ziggler have a 5-way, or you could have one more added in somewhere. Maybe Rey Mysterio, have those 6. In a 6-person, 6-pack challenge or something. Find 8 wrestlers. Have a mini tournament. The winner is going to be the Intercontinental Champion Challenger going into SummerSlam. I'm sick and tired of seeing these championship contender matches that we end up having with the winner going to the pay-per-view and getting a title match, or that person getting a title match. Hell, John Morrison was in a 6-person tag match with AJ and Omos 3 weeks ago. John Morrison took the pinfall from the Viking Raiders. What happened? The Viking Raiders get a tag team title opportunity without pinning the champions. Why do we have to have the champions continue to get beat every fucking where else? It's absolutely ridiculous. So we see what happened between Seth Rollins and Edge. Edge comes to the ring. He's running around the stage. Crowd gets hyped up. He stops on the ramp, poses with pyro, heads to the ring as we go to commercial break. Back from break, and it's not Edge in the ring, it's Seth Rollins. We see what happened during the break as Seth Rollins viciously attacked Edge, beating him all the way up to the stage, grabbing a camera, whacking him over the head, and dropping him Cole says Edge was held to the back after the attack. Rollins takes the mic and tells the fans to shut up. He rants about how what comes around goes around, how Edge has done nothing but take from Seth Rollins, calls him a revolutionary. Rollins shows up a video package of recent events that led to where he and Edge are now. Rollins says he's not ashamed. That was a hard thing to do, but the right thing to do. And the fans chant, "We want Becky," because this woman WWE refuses to have her come back. It's either she's coming back or she's not. That's all I gotta say about that. So, and Rollins says he is the rightful heir to the Universal Championship. If he can't be champion, neither can Edge. Takes the mic, tosses it, and walks out. Somebody should have made a challenge to SummerSlam. We are coming closer and closer every single week. And then we go to our main event. Sasha Banks and Bianca Ballet versus Carmella and Zelena Vega. You want to talk about a waste of 5 minutes. This was a waste of 5 minutes. Sasha Banks and Bianca Ballet, I know they had to find a way to get this match to happen. How do you get this set up? You don't just want Sasha Banks to come back, turn heel immediately, and we go from there. No. We have to do something else. So they have a match. It was a nothing match. Sasha Banks Bianca makes Carmella tap out. So again, Vega's on the losing side of the equation, even though she didn't take the pinfall or tap out this time. Still, losing side of the equation. They celebrate. Everything looks all hunky-dory. There's 2 minutes left in the show. Backstabber, choose Bianca Belair. She beats her up, says some words to her, puts her in the bank statement, grabs the title, holds it up, puts her in the bank statement again, and holds on to it as we go to black. And SmackDown goes off the air. So clearly, the 3 big matches from SmackDown are Roman versus Cena, Seth Rollins versus Edge, and Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks. The Usos versus Mysterios will probably happen again, but why was it on the pay-per-view last time? Why didn't they just wait till we got to the next pay-per-view? On top of that, why didn't you let the Mysterios keep the championships and then drop the championship to the Alpha Academy, who've been putting in a masterclass of work and honestly should be allowed to win, should be given some kind of credit and some kind of props and give them a title run. It's not that hard to do. SmackDown was decent. Definitely they need to, the building towards SummerSlam, and hopefully by this time next week we'll have pretty much the SmackDown side fleshed out and we can talk about matches and everything else. But that is all for your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video, follow me on Minds at the France Club, follow me on twitch.tv/the France Club, and follow me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys on Monday for what will be another painful episode of Monday Night Raw to get through. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.